What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at your levels again through the power of the internet. Tonight I have something really exciting to share with you, and I think you're going to be as excited as I am when you hear it, especially those of you who have followed me for the last 10 years as I shared every detail of my life here on my YouTube channel. But here's the thing, I really want a lot of people to see this video because I think the message behind this video is really important. So I'm going to start the story from the beginning and give everybody a little bit of a recap in the hopes that maybe you will share this with somebody you love. Now, you may not have noticed this, but I happen to be overweight, very overweight. I'm 5'10", and I currently weigh about 520 pounds. That puts me in the very, very obese category. And if you're one of the 11 million people that have seen my Draw My Life video, you'll know that I've struggled with my weight my entire life. At the age of 7, I was heavier than the other kids by 25, 50 pounds. By the time I graduated high school, I was 350 pounds. By the time I was 30, I was almost 600 pounds. And through therapy over the years, I have learned that my eating disorder and what I've done to my body largely stems from the fact that I was born into a family full of crazy people who did not want me there, and they mentally and physically and even sexually abused me at points. So this is just kind of how I retaliated. Now, I think it's important to note here that that is the reason that this has happened, but it is not an excuse. There is no excuse for what I've done. I was brought into this world with just one body, and I have effectively ruined it. And not only have I caused myself a ton of mental and physical anguish because of it, but the people who love me and count on me, they suffered too. And that includes all of the people who've watched me over the years here on YouTube. And my eating disorder has also caused me to feel shame and self-loathing and social anxiety and just misery of untold proportions. But I have to stop to admit that it did serve a very important role in my life. When I was a young teenager and I was suicidal, food kept me alive because it was the only source of joy in a life that was otherwise filled entirely with misery. When I was a broke young adult and I was even homeless, I knew that if I got $5, I could take it to a pizza buffet and eat thousands of calories. If I didn't know where my next meal was coming from, I had the ability to eat and eat a lot, and I knew that that would keep me going for some time. And I also use food like everybody else. It's like a social lubricant. You know, you go out to a business dinner, or you go out to dinner with your friends, or you go out to dinner on a first date, or you just use your comfort foods to deal with the stress of life or the stress of work. That's something I do as well. I just do it far too much. And food served a much more nefarious purpose, one that I think is kind of difficult to put into a YouTube video, but I think I want to be entirely honest here. As a young adult, when I would talk to a doctor, which was pretty rarely, they would tell me if you continue to eat the way you're eating, you'll be dead by 30 or maybe 35. And when they told me that, that would actually not be a bad thing to me. That would be a very relaxing thing, because after a lifetime of misery and a lifetime of mental disorder, I often considered death to be relaxing or relieving, something that I actually looked forward to. I was never fully suicidal, but I knew that it would be the way that I would finally cure what was wrong with me up here, and of course, what I'd done to my body as well. Now, that's crazy. That's obviously crazy. I mean, I was crazy. There's just no other way to put it. And the problem is when you're crazy like that, it's very difficult to hold out for hope. And I really wish I had more hope, because things have obviously gotten way better for me. Now, my primary abuser, which was my mother, she passed in 2009. And while that was a very sad thing and very difficult to deal with, it was also bittersweet because it brought me some very necessary closure in my life that allowed me to finally start healing. Now, in 2010, I met a young lady who I fell deeply in love with. She fell deeply in love with me. We moved in together at the end of 2010, and just about 3.5 years ago, I actually married her. When you meet somebody that you would give anything for or anything to, it kind of makes you want to be able to give them everything, and that really lit a fire under my ass. One that got me really working hard at creating good YouTube videos or streaming on Twitch or learning to make money from the internet. One that really got me to focusing on my health, working with my doctors for the first time to treat my diabetes and my high blood pressure, even getting me back into therapy so that I would be self-improving a little bit every single day. And I can honestly say that that is when the best parts of my life started happening. Everything good that has happened to me over the years, which is pretty much the only thing good that has ever happened to me, happened because of her. I would give her anything because I owe her everything. And in the past few years, everything I wanted has happened because I started this YouTube channel. I met her because of a YouTube video she saw of mine, and that got me the loving, caring relationship that I always wanted and needed. I was unable to hold down a job for the majority of my life because of my mental issues and my physical issues, but YouTube has given me an ability to do my dream job for a living, and that's entertain you guys. And I used to even be homeless in this town, and now I own a house in the town I was homeless in. It doesn't get much better than that. It's almost my entire bucket list. Almost my entire bucket list. 6 years ago, I announced here on YouTube that I was finally going to take my weight serious and my health serious. And I tried a lot of different things. I did manage to stop gaining weight for the first time in my life, which I was pretty excited about. And I managed to lose about 60 pounds. But come on, 60 pounds in 6 years, that's nothing. At first, we tried losing weight all by ourselves using the internet as a guide, which I know plenty of people have done, but it's not something we were successful at. We tried every diet. We tried Atkins and paleo and vegan and all fruit and no fruit. We tried carb-free and then nothing but carbs. And all we ever did was we would gain weight, we'd lose weight, we'd gain weight, we'd lose weight, we'd gain weight, we'd lose weight. Always the same 30, 40, 50 pounds over and over again. Once I started making a little bit of money, we started involving a nutritionist who told us what to eat and how to eat it. We involved an endocrinologist who tried to get my hormones back together so that my body was in a position where it could burn fat and lose weight. We involved a doctor and a therapist who was able to try to get my back out of pain and get me to physically do things better and actually be able to exercise. We even had a wrestler, Diamond Dallas Page, fly out and intervene on my behalf, trying to set me on the right path. For whatever reason, I could not get on the right path. But eventually, every nutritionist and every doctor and every therapist all pretty much came into one agreement. The problem wasn't my hormones. It wasn't a pituitary gland tumor. It wasn't my legs or my knees or my back or anything else. It was in my head. The problem has always been in my head, and that's where it'll probably always be. I simply cannot be trusted to feed myself. I simply cannot be trusted with food. All of that misery that has happened to me, on all of that abuse, caused me to create a very inappropriate relationship with food, one that is abusive. I abuse food and it abuses me right back, and I treat it like a drug, and I use it like a drug, and I'm addicted to it like it is a drug. And just like any other addict, the cycle will not end without intervention. Fortunately for people like me who are in my position or have a body like mine, there is an intervention, and it's surgical. That intervention is known as gastric bypass, and it's a fairly simple operation where they go inside of the body and they reduce the size of the stomach to very, very small so that the person who receives the surgery can only eat small amounts of food for about the better part of a year. And during that year, that gives them an opportunity to relearn everything they know about food and finally end their abusive cycle. And about 2.5 years ago, me and my wife resigned ourselves to the fact that I would absolutely have to seek out the surgery. The problem is I could not get a surgeon who would work with me because my diabetes was out of control, my blood pressure was out of control, and I was very unhealthy and at a point where I could not physically even exercise. Hormonally, everything was a wreck. I just did not qualify for the surgery. But over the past 2.5 years, we have done an incredible amount of work and seen a lot of different doctors to get me surgery ready. And I have found a surgeon who is willing to do the surgery. And just today, he told me that he will do that surgery for me in the middle of July. So about 2 months away from the time I'm filming this video. That's your good news. I'm pretty excited about it, and I hope you are too. And why the surgery is not a perfect solution. It may not work as well for me as it did other patients. And I might screw it up because I won't do all of the dieting and exercise that is necessary after the surgery. Or hell, I could even die on the table or post-surgery. That does happen to very few people. This is the kind of intervention that I think I absolutely need. And it's all about intervention for me because honestly, if I'm left to my own devices, I would be dead in a gutter somewhere. But YouTube intervened in my life and gave me an opportunity to pour myself into this channel and into this career. And because of that, because of the hard work and the opportunity, I have managed to build something very great here that you and I enjoy every single day. And the same with my wife, who intervened in my life and became the family member and the support structure that I always wanted. If I did the work, if I provided for our family, if I took good care of her, she would take good care of me. She gave me that opportunity to do the work, and I have done a good job, and she is pleased, and I am happy. And surgery will give me the opportunity to do the work, to reset my problems with food, to relearn everything. It'll give me the opportunity to exercise really for the first time in my life without being in unbearable pain and unbearable misery. And if I put in the work, and I know that I will, something really great will come out of it. And I'm really looking forward to doing that for me, for you, for us. So that's your good news. And if you're somebody who watches me every day, I know you've been waiting for this for a long time. Maybe you only check back on the channel every so often. Maybe you've discovered me through this video. And if you have, welcome to the fold. I'm glad to have you. But if you don't watch every day or you don't watch very often, do me a favor. Check back in about a year. Because mark my words, I'm pretty sure, and I've said it before, but this time I think it's going to work. I'll be half the man I used to be. And I'm pretty happy about that. Guys, thanks for watching. I love you very much. I'll speak with you again soon. I'm going to go celebrate with my wife.